Alrighty, welcome back. Now, going on, we've actually now completed how to build the small airfield. This has now allowed us to jump into building a regional airport, which we'll have into the next tutorial. Hey, g'day, and welcome to another tutorial, and this one is just how to build a small airport. So it's just starting out. Thank you very much for your comments and your subscribes and likes. It's been fantastic, and I've just had some people sort of contact me sort of separately that in some cases they've had frustrations with the game, and so therefore I've sort of gone back a little bit, and I'm just creating this quick tutorial on starting out. Now, basically, in this case here, they've upgraded their tutorials. So by clicking on the bottom, you're coming up with the tutorial. We're talking about a small airfield. So effectively what we're going to do in this tutorial, without actually looking at the tutorial, we're going to cover all the points until we actually complete building a small airfield. So if you get stuck after watching the video, you can obviously go through the points. As I said, the developers have done a really good job rewriting the tutorials, and it's definitely made things easier. So let's get started. So as you can see, we've started with a little bit less funds than this one. It's not about having $2 million or an open sandbox and just having unlimited money. So we want to put a couple of challenges into the next couple of series. The first thing we're going to do is actually look at our contracts. And just going to our contracts overview, we can see now, as I have in a couple of other videos, I'm just going to wait until the second one comes up and then actually take the second contract, which should come through in the next couple of hours. The next thing we want to do, once we've selected the contract, is then actually bring in the builders. But we can actually start off. The first thing we can actually do is pop our runway down, and just zooming out, remembering this is also going to expand into something a little bit bigger, so we're just going to put our runway maybe a little bit higher and drop it there. Still waiting for the contracts to come through, and these should come through shortly. Next thing we want to do is actually start putting some small stands in. Happy with the grass stands because we're just going to go a little bit more cost effective until that is actually built through. So we'll just build small stands grass, and we're just going to put a couple of small stands in. So just rotating that around. So making sure that we're close, and they can actually come off and they can park there. So we'll just drop these here. And we're going to build 5 small stands. Now we actually want to do our Taxiway Foundation. And we want to build a nice little foundation just at the back and the front of the taxi runway. So taxiway, pick the price, and in this case, once again, we're just going to go grass, and we can upgrade at a later date. Oh. We've got rain. Let's bring this one in. Okay, so there we've actually got our runway. Now what we do need to make sure we do is then put in the nodes. Okay, so there's our second one. So it's actually, we're just grabbing this one because of the size. You can actually get 91 contractors, and I find that the price is also a little bit cheaper. So you get them at a cheaper rate per hour, and you've got more available. So I do wait for the second contract. There we go. Now we can actually go down to our operations. And let's deploy all the contractors. And they should come in. So whilst we're doing this, we can now wait, and we can actually now build our taxi node. Now that we've done that, we want to click on the taxiway node, right click, and set a holding point. And we'll do the same down here, right click and set a holding point. And that will just set a holding point for the aircraft. So the last thing we need to do is just set the taxiway node down to join up with each of the stands. So that is almost got the, and here we go. We've actually got the builders coming in now, and they will actually come and actually start delivering all the boxes that are actually being delivered, being sent. So the last thing we need to do, just literally to sort of have the airport open, is to have a small terminal or building there. So we actually just drop this in the middle. At this stage, as I said, it does not need any vehicle access, and we're just going to have a weather station as well. And that will build those two things. Alright, so we'll just let the constructors actually start building this. Let's just go have a look at the tutorial so you can see what we've actually done. So without going step by step, it is actually already done phase 1 and step 2, and then it's coming into step 3. One of the reasons for building it this way is it means that you'll actually start to get an income rather than going straight for the international airport, where you'll burn through a lot of cash in the early setup, setting up your large stands. This way you'll actually get a level of income. Then you can move into your larger one. So the next couple of series, what we're going to do is we're actually going to build the airport this way. So from a small, generate some income, and then we're going to move to a regional airport, and then we're going to move to an international airport. So it's actually probably a little bit more realistic, let's say. So we'll just wait for the last of this to be built. So we'll speed it up here, and we'll come back when the last of that, the runway is being built. Okay, welcome back. It is 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. So it's a little bit darker, but we've actually now completed the starting of the airport there. So what we're actually going to do is actually open it up. Now please note that when starting the airport, or for a general aviation airport, you don't need fuel, you don't need staff, and you don't need baggage. So this is, as I said, just starting it off, and it will actually save with your expenses. As you can see, I've only spent $300,000 to start off. So to open the airport, open the runway. In this case here, you can leave that fine. Operations mode, So open the runway, so the runway is now open. Then open each of the stands. In this case here, we're collecting general aviation. General aviation. And they are open. The last thing we need to do is go to the Operations tab in the overview and open the airport. Now you've opened the airport, your flight is open. Now to make things easier, in the top left hand corner you actually see the a GA panel, which means that you have to manually accept or reject each of your general aviation. So what you can do is press tab, go over here and always accept general aviation. So that will turn that on. You can see a little tick there, and that means that it won't keep asking you to accept the general aviation. So it is 11 o'clock at night, so we probably won't get a flight until about 5 o'clock in the morning. If we press tab and just do a quick recap of the tutorial, you can now see that we've completed step 2. We're now moving into step 3, which is now receive 5 GA flights. The next thing, which is shaded, is now actually starting the fuel. So what we're going to do is we're going to start building our fuel depots now, in preparation for moving into phase 3. So to accept a fuel contract, what we need to do is actually start to actually start to unlock things. So we've got the aircraft stand, which is there, to actually start unlocking the fuel service. So time of delivery is 2 hours, so we can start to unlock because it's going to take 2 hours to actually complete. So we can look at that. Okay, whilst we're starting to have that unlocked, we can actually let's start preparing our road system to allow for the fuel to come in. So I know it's a little bit dark, but it's great that it brings this circle over the top. What we want to do is bypass this drop-off point because it does get a little bit crowded. So we're actually going to build another road. Whoops, we're going to build another public road just off to the left. Remember, you can hit the control button to get rid of it, so that's a great little feature that they've added. I just want to come down a little bit on this road and in. So that's fine. Then we actually want to have a vehicle checkpoint, which is going to swap this from a public road to a service road. So we'll quickly swap that. Then we're going to build a service road. We're going to build the service road on concrete, just so you can see the difference when it's actually being built. Now let's start building that up. Like so. So we've now got the service road that's coming in there, and we're just going to do some creative turning. Just to lock that in. That's all we can do for now while we wait for the airport to complete, and also wait for our contract or our procurement to also be completed as well. So going to the procurement. Okay, so that is now unlocked, which has allowed the next phase. So the next phase that it's allowed is the purchase of a fuel truck. But what it's also allowed is under infrastructure and structures, you can now get your fuel tanks. So let's start putting in the fuel cells and deciding where to put them. So a couple of things we want is we actually want the vehicle depot as well as the actual fuel depots itself. So we'll bring in the fuel depot, and we've only got one choice here, which is the avgas. So turning that around, alright, so that's 3 squares, avgas, fuel tank, and once again we just need one to start off with, because we're not spending a huge amount of money. The whole purpose of this video was really to ensure that we're spending efficiently. Okay, welcome back. It's 5:30 on the first day of our setup. So we've actually now built our vehicle depot, and the fuel depot and the attachable fuel is well on its way. So what we want to do is actually just then go to the procurement tab, and we're going to order our first track, which is be our avgas 100 litres. So we'll now order. That only takes just short of an hour or 45 minutes to actually procure, so that will be well in line and on time for that. The next thing we can look at under our contracts, once it's actually set up, is actually looking for our aviation. Okay, so now that the fuel's open, we've actually got our fuel contracts. So we can select our fuel contract. Now with the fuel contracts, there's not a lot of difference within the fuel contracts, so I'm just going to take the first one. The main one is about the amount of fuel that is actually being delivered, and therefore you would actually be paying for the delivery. So we're actually going to sign this one, and we should actually see the fuel truck being delivered soon. Notably, it's just hit 6:30, and we've got our first of our general aviation aircraft, and now our second one's landing now. So we're already starting to make money. Okay, so that's actually now 5 general aviation, and as we can also see, our fuel truck is actually now fueled. Fuel is 100%, and the status is 100% as well. But that doesn't mean we're fueling the truck. So once again, we need to go to the Operations tab and click the tab for Aviation Fuel Refueling Services. Okay, so now it's enabled. That will allow fueling services for the next aircraft that actually require fuel. So let's go to our tutorial tab and let's have a look. So we've now opened the GA flights, serviced 5 GA flights. So we just need these to take off, and I believe that will actually service that. So let's speed this up a bit. So we're actually now into day 2, and we've already started to receive an income from the airports. We've spent, as you can see, $400,000 with minimal purchases. Okay, that's the 5th one that's taken off. So let's have a look at our status. So we are making a little bit of money, or the break even. What you can also see, you would have seen with the video being sped up, and now we are providing fuel services. So the truck is comfortably driving out to the aircraft and offloading the fuel. So that means we've got the general aviation and the fuel. Let's have a look at our tutorial tab of what we've got. So we've got our 5 flights. We're building our fuel services. That has been complete. operating the refueling, and now we need to refuel 5 flights. So we'll just speed that up and complete. Alrighty, welcome back. Now, going on, we've actually now completed how to build the small airfield. This has now allowed us to jump into building a regional airport, which we'll have into the next tutorial. So thank you very much. It was just a very simple video demonstrating how to still build a small airport, but also just keep it profitable and to manage your funds. So we spent a total of $400,000 to do it, and as you can see, we're actually now starting to have a little bit of profitability. We can actually head over to the finances and the budgets, and this will actually show the income and the expenses that we've had. So if we actually now have our daily rate, it will show how we're actually building it. So thank you very much. If you once again, it's just how to set up a small airport for those that are starting off with the game and maybe getting frustrated with some of the larger ones, larger parts of the game. But we'll talk through those in another series. Don't forget to leave your comments below. It really does help me, and it helps me actually design the tutorials and the let's plays and the how-tos for future. Hit those likes, and don't forget to hit the subscribe if you'd like to see more of this game and other games that I have. So cheerio, have fun with AirportCEO. It is a great game, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, goodbye.